Hi guys, welcome to this session on Libreoffice Calc. In this module, I want to have a look at how to do a simple Vlookup and a Hlookup. So first of all, a Vlookup. This is a small table I've got here, which I've named product code. This yellow cell is called input code, and then in the two black cells there is a Vlookup looking at that. So what I'm going to do is just delete these two off and redo them. So you start off with equals Vlookup, open the bracket, and now it wants the search criteria. The search criteria is this cell. You could put the actual search criteria in the formula itself up here, but I'm just going to click on that cell. Now it's said A2. Now I want to use the name, so I've called that input code. Input, get rid of the A. So input code, comma. Now it wants to know what the table's called. I've called that product code, product with an underscore code, comma. Now it wants to know what column of that table do I want. Well, I want the description, so it's a 2, column 2, comma, and then 0 for an exact match. And I'll close the bracket and then click the tick. And it comes back with nuts. So ABC, ABC, nuts. Now if I change that to a different code, it should come back with whatever that is. ABG, ABG, gaskets, gaskets. So that's basically what a VLOOKUP is. It's looking at a table of data and bringing back the relevant column. Now obviously I want the cost as well. So if I get this one, I can pull that across. It says gaskets because it's still looking at column 2 and I want column 3 information. So what I now need to do is go and change this 2 at the top here to a 3. Just highlight it, change it to a 3, click the tick, and it's come up with an error message because it's got the 3 at the end there. So let's just careful what you're doing there. Get in there and change that to a 3, tick, and then it comes up with a 1.5. So for gaskets it's £1.50, so this needs to be formatted to pounds, £1.50. So that's how you do that, straightforward. You don't have to type out again if you've used named cells and named ranges, which is what I've done there. Now the Hlookup, if I go into Hlookup, I'll do this bottom example. The H means horizontal, whereas the V means vertical. So it's just how you've got your tables listed. So in this one, I've actually got conditional formatting active. So when you click on a PC, it goes to that and highlights it and brings this information back here. So maybe you want to print this stuff off and pin it onto a PC or something. And in there you've got the formulas, Hlookup, etc., etc. So in this example, we have PC records. Let's just see where that is. I think it's just this bit. Yeah, so it's just this bit is PC records. This yellow cell is called PC. Now if I just delete, in fact I won't delete all of it, I'll just delete the first one, the 16 gig, and then I'll type equals Hlookup, open the bracket. So it wants to know where I'm looking. I'm looking at that cell. Again, it's gone for the cell reference. I want it to be the name, which is PC, which is picked that up. So now I'm doing a comma. What's the table called? It's called PC records, comma. Now instead of column, I want the row. So the title PC1, PC2, etc. This stuff is the first row, but this is the second row. So I need to put a 2 there, row 2, comma, 0 for an exact match, close the bracket, just check it, click the tick, and it brings in the 16 gigabytes from there. And that's going to say row 3, that's going to say row 4, etc. all the way down. So you can see how that works. So by using Hlookup and Vlookup, you're basically bringing information into an area of the screen that you can maybe print off or you just want to see, and you've got all the stuff there. If I look at this a second VLOOKUP, let's have a look at this one, VLOOKUP example 2. If I put a code in there, it fills everything in. So let me just get rid of this comment box. Now there's nothing showing in this space here until I select a code, and then it fills it in, and then when you put the figures in, it will work out the invoice for you. Now the reason it's doing that is because in this cell there is a if statement, or an if statement, that's basically saying if there is no code selected there, don't do anything. Those two quotes means don't do anything. If there is a code, do the VLOOKUP. That's what that's doing. So when you print this off, you don't have loads of NAs, because NA is what would come up if there was no code there. And I'll show you that on the first example in a second. So you don't want any div zeros or any NA, so you can use an if statement to hide them. You can use if error as well. There's other formulas you can use, it's totally up to you, but this example I'm doing is just a straightforward if statement. Now if I go back onto that first example and show you what will happen when there's no code, so at the moment everything's working fine, but if there's no code, if I delete that, you get NA. The VLOOKUP returns NA. Now if you don't want to see the NA because you might want to print this off and there's multiple lines like the invoice example, you have to put an if statement in front of it. So let's do that. So remember, an if statement's got three parts: a test, a comma, what to do if the test is true, then another comma, what to do if the test is false. So let's do that. If, open bracket. So if input code, that's what I've called it, equals 0, 0 not O, comma, quote quote means do nothing, comma, otherwise do the whole VLOOKUP. And then at the end you've got to close the if statement. Tick goes blank. Pull that across like we did before. That'll go blank, but you need to change that to a 3. Tick. And then I have to format that to a pound as well. Now if I put a code in there, ABC, didn't format that to a pound, pound. Change the code. So whatever I do now, that's working. But if there's nothing there, it disappears, which is what I want. And that's basically how you can hide these error messages if you don't want them to appear on a printed sheet. So hopefully that was of use to you. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye.